when things get chaotic in a conflict zone, those first-person videos, they just blow up online, right? So we're going to take a look at one of these. And just to be clear, our job here isn't to fact-check every single claim. Nope. What we're doing is deconstructing the story being told from one person's point of view right there on the ground. Wow. I have been running from rockets for the last 24 hours of my life. I mean, that's how it starts. No intro, no context, just pure, raw emotion. It immediately throws you right into the middle of the action and, it really sets the tone for everything else he's about to say. The stakes are incredibly high from the get-go.
Okay, so where's this all coming from? Well, it's a YouTube video made by an Israeli content creator. He's basically framing it as a report from the front lines, day 2 of what he's calling a war with Iran. He's sharing what he sees, what he's hearing from his sources, all while living through it himself.
All right, so you know how in every big story, there's that one moment, that one event that just kicks everything off? Well, in this guy's story, that catalyst it's a huge one. I mean, an absolutely game-changing, earth-shattering claim.
So what could it possibly be? What's the one piece of news at the very center of all this that, if it's true, would just flip the entire region on its head?
And here it is. The claim is that Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, has been killed. And listen, he's not presenting this as some rumor he heard. In his video, this is treated as a fact, and it's the foundation for everything else he reports.
Okay, let's get into the details of this allegation. First, he claims the strike was a joint operation between the US and Israel. And then he talks about the immediate aftermath. He says he's seeing supporters of the Iranian regime in, and I'm quoting here, full panic mode. He's basing this on seeing them, crying and mourning on social media.
So after this massive claim about the supreme leader, the narrator's story pivots. It moves from the outside attack to what's happening inside Iran. The picture he paints is of a country that's right on the edge of a massive change. And then, according to the video, comes this call to action. The narrator shares this quote, which he says comes from Iran's exiled crown prince, Reza Pahlavi. He frames it as basically a green light, a command for the people in Iran to hit the streets and, finish the job of this revolution. So what you get is this really sharp contrast, like a tale of two different responses happening at the same time. On one hand, he's describing the regime as being in total chaos, panicked, shutting down the internet. But on the other hand, he claims the people, they're out in Tehran celebrating, literally dancing in the streets, ready to fight for a new country. And just when you think the story can't get any bigger, the narrator zooms out. This isn't just about Israel and Iran anymore. According to his account, the whole thing is blowing up, escalating fast, and pulling other countries and new targets into the mix all across the Middle East. And he gets really specific about the scope of this. He starts listing off these alleged attacks by Iran. And we're not just talking military targets. He's talking about U.S. Army bases in Abu Dhabi and Dubai, but also civilian spots like the Fairmont Hotel and even Dubai's International Airport. He claims a drone hit a civilian building in Bahrain, and there were explosions in Qatar. It's a lot. Then, right in the middle of all this chaos, he drops in another huge element. He brings a major political figure into the narrative. He shows this quote, claiming it's from a Truth Social post by former U.S. President Donald Trump, and it's framed as this super blunt warning to Iran. And here's the last piece of this regional puzzle, at least according to the video. He claims that Saudi Arabia and the UAE, because they were supposedly targeted, are now thinking about jumping into the fight against the Iranian regime. I mean, if that were to happen, you're talking about a complete reshuffling of the deck in the Middle East. Okay, so after painting this massive picture of regional war, the narrator zooms the camera all the way back in, right back to him, to his personal, raw, moment-by-moment experience of what's happening right where he is. And he tries to give us a sense of what that's actually like. He puts a number on it. He says that on just the first day, he had to run to a bomb shelter somewhere between 15 and 20 times. Just think about that, 15 to 20 times in 24 hours. That really gives you a feel for the kind of constant danger he's describing. But it's not just about the numbers, it's about the feeling. He says, you hear and feel the ballistic missiles exploding, the booms running through your body. That's intense. He's talking about it not just as a sound, but as this physical thing, this shock wave that you feel deep inside you. It's a really vivid way to explain what it's like. So to sum up what he's seeing from his perspective, He's hiding in bomb shelters. He's passing along reports that 27 people were injured in a strike on Tel Aviv. He notes that Ben Gurion Airport is completely shut down to civilian flights. And then there's this surreal image he paints of watching missile interceptions light up the sky. He says it looks like something out of a Star Wars movie.
Which kind of brings us to the big takeaway here. By looking closely at this one single unverified story from the ground, we can see how a whole narrative gets built, piece by piece. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? In the middle of a fast-moving conflict, when solid information is hard to come by, how do these stories get told? And maybe more importantly, whose stories are the ones that actually cut through the noise?